Bumps and bruises, scratches and scrapes, some of the ingredients that a good life makes. But sorrows become success, and as we aim for the top, we will pause if we must, but we will never stop. Welcome to Simsoul Sessions. Hello and welcome to Simsoul Sessions, the safe space to share your stories. Tonight we're doing something a little differently, and it's something we plan to do more of. We're following up with your faves from previous seasons of our show. This is a more in-depth look than we usually do in our regular check-in, so stay tuned for it. Tonight we're checking in with our second guest from season 1, Chelan Smith. You may know her as Mama Shell. Right now, we're checking in with Veneshia Buckley, who has brought a special guest with her tonight. First, though, we're going to take a look back at when Ven was last here on the show. When you walked into the hospital, you said all your strength left you.
Everything
It wasn't
left.
the same girl that you saw.
No, it was just a lot of doctors, a lot going on. She started to swell, it was just a lot. It was overwhelming. I didn't know what to expect. But when I saw her lying there and then she had no clothes on and they had to rip everything from her and, it was just too much. Mm-hmm. At one point I said, God, you're picking on me. Why are you picking on me? I literally directed that question to him. Why are you picking on me? And my faith left. I honestly can ask anybody. My mother, every time she started talking about God, I said, I don't want to hear nothing more than your God. I actually didn't believe that there was a God anymore. If the doctors can't help, the machines can't help, I can't help, nobody else can help physically, then who else is going to help? It has to be God.
All right, so that's when she was last here. What is going on with Ven now? And how is Kaylan? They're both joining us here on set to catch us up. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello, Sam.
Good to see you here again. You comfy, lady? You comfy in your chair?
Yeah, I'm
okay,
fine.
Just making sure. Hi. How are you? You're fine, you're fine. So we're going to be catching up with these two to find out what's been going on. We saw you recently at a Simsoul celebration. You gave us a quick kind of check-in as to what was going on. First of all, there are many folks who are going to be excited to see that Kaylan is sitting here today.
Yes.
Because when the ordeal happened then in 2020, November?
Yes,
was it?
November
of 2020, you came here when Kaylan was in the hospital.
Yes.
The doctors told you it was grim.
Yes.
But you never.
Very grim.
Very grim.
Very grim.
1% chance.
1% chance.
She's sitting beside you today.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Tell us how it felt to take her home.
Oh, I was overexcited. I don't know, I was just on go. I was just cloud nine. It was just good. It was just everything good for me because, at one point I was stressing, when will this end? When will this end? When will this end? And, because of the highs and the lows, the constant highs and the lows, when you go there, sometimes you don't know what to expect because you leave her there fine and tomorrow you go, she's not fine. She's either unconscious, she's either unresponsive, it was just a roller coaster, and there was really high and then there was really lows. Mm-hmm. And, so the fact that, several times she was to go home prior to that, because she would have been home a year before that. She should have been home
a year, but she was in hospital for 2 years.
And she should have been home from last April. But what happened? She got an infection, because that is what kept her there so long. And she went septic, and she went into septic shock. And she had 2 cardiac arrests back to back. And that, because she was getting ready, and I was called by one of the doctors, one of the E2s, and he said, "I know, mommy, make preparations because we're getting ready to discharge Kaylan from ICU to the ward." And I was so excited, and then within 2 days when I go there, she's back on the machine, she's unresponsive, she's not at square one, and it was a septic shock.
Yeah. But she's here now. How did it feel to go home, Mama? You can talk to me through, Mom. It felt fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Good being in your own space, and good knowing that you had gone through all of that and you had survived. Wow, you told me at the show, I asked you what the ordeal taught you, and it said to trust God, right? For those who don't know, it was 5 ladies. 5 girls who beat your daughter.
Yes.
And we'll talk more about what's going on with that later down. But Kaylan, to know that you are alive today, when the outlook was so grim, you say that's what this has taught you, is to trust God. Yeah. Wow. So, Mommy, what's been going on since? So the ride home was a mad dash, you say?
It was crazy.
And I love it.
We crashed in the house, literally, because what happens is because she hasn't been off the vent for that long period of time, her saturation was dropping.
This is her oxygen saturation.
Right, while we were en route home. So I had my flasher on, and I was beeping through. Everybody was thinking I was crazy because I'm going the wrong direction. I'm not going to the hospital, I'm heading in the opposite direction. But, when we made it home, I had to just run and open the door and run and turn on the machine because everything was set up already inside. So I just had to turn them on. And, and we just ran, and it was just, it was crazy, but we got through it.
And since she's been home, you felt a lot better, Kaylan. Less infections?
No infections.
No
infection. No infection.
No complications?
No
really?
complications.
You're eating?
She's eating fine.
You watch TV,
She watch TV.
You play on your phone?
Yes.
I mean, she's home.
She's home.
And doing what kids do when they're at home.
Yes, just enjoying being home.
So you are no doctor. You've taken the lady off her medication? Eh? You've learned her body and learned her meds so much that you started to wean her.
Yes, I started to wean her from the meds based on how she was reacting. I watched her for a while, and I'm like, Kaylan, you're not feeling any pain. We need to get rid of the Baralgin. We need to get rid of the fentanyl. We're getting to get rid of this, get rid of that. So I just eventually got rid of everything. When we went back for her visit, and the doctor asked, all right, what she's on? I'm like, nothing. He's like, I'm like, nothing. And he said, really? And I said, yes, I eventually took care of everything.
Okay. So you're home now. You're settled. Then when we spoke, I asked you how you were. You said, I'm holding on.
Yes, I am.
Trusting God.
Trusting God.
Because you all are about to face another battle.
Yes.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, week and a half, we did what was called a laryngoscopy. The laryngoscopy showed, because what was happening is she would be off the machine during the day, but when she's ready to go to bed at night, she won't go to sleep. So when we went for her visit and ENT, I spoke to them, they said that they think it's more psychological than actually physical, because from their observations, she's breathing. But when we try to use the speaking valve, we noticed that there's no sound coming out. So you would deflate the cuff that is in the around the trach.
You do sound like a doctor for true, then.
Well, one of the doctors said I should go and do some. Yes. When we deflate the cuff, there should be sound coming from her vocals, because the air should be passing around the trach.
Because that's what has been happening.
That's what should happen, right? Because in previous time when we were in ICU and we deflated the cuff, then you would hear her voice coming up. But we noticed we're not hearing anything. So they suggested that we do the laryngoscopy to see what is going on with the trachea and everything, the airways coming up and the nasal passage. So when we went and did the laryngoscopy, it showed that there's a stenosis above the tracheostomy tube.
Okay.
Stenosis is an
Wait, hold it, because she's diagnosing and she's explaining. I mean, Kaylan, your mother is Dr. Buckley. I mean, I'm telling you, you know this thing inside out. But then it's your child.
Yes, it is.
And you've been on top of them since day
Yes,
one,
it
which is,
is.
I think, in large
had
part
to.
why you're here. Your mother did not stop fighting for you, right? And she's going to fight some more, and we're going to help her fight. When we take this break and come back, Ben is going to tell us a little more closely what it is that's happening with Kaylan, and more importantly, how we can help with the next fight that Kaylan has to fight, and how we can fight with her. We'll be right back with more. Soon come. Back with you on Sim Soul. That's what people call it on the road, Sim Soul. Nobody says session, so we'll take it. I'm talking to Veneshia and Kaylan, and Ven was telling us before the break what's been going on with Kaylan in recent weeks, because we want to help her face this next challenge that she's about to fight. And as much as we know how strong you are, you learned, even though you knew, how very strong your daughter is, because of the tests you've been going through, Kaylan. They have not been easy. They've been scary, actually. Has not been fun getting them at all. You had to watch her go through some of that, and it was very tough.
She did us after the laryngoscopy showed the stenosis.
So the stenosis is a growth.
It's a growth. It's scar tissue
Right.
that causes a narrowing in the trachea.
Okay, which affects the breathing.
Yes, because above the tracheostomy tube, it has covered over so much that there's no air passing.
Gotcha.
So even if we were to take out, which is the ultimate plan, to take out the tube, right, she still would not be able to breathe, because there would be no air coming up. And
correct. So you have to go in and remove.
So they have to do that surgically. There's two methods of doing it, they said. There's one where they give you a collar cut, and there's one where they will go down via with a laryngoscope and a laser thingy and cut it out with the laser.
Burn it.
That is the option that I am praying that we will, that route, because the other route is a major surgery, major surgery.
On top of the majors that she's had.
And on top of all the majors that she's already had. We had to do a CT after the laryngoscopy revealed, because they want to know how far down the stenosis goes. So we did a CT. The CT showed the narrowing as we expected, and it also showed another narrowing below that we didn't know about. So there are two places that they're querying to say what to do.
Okay.
The CT was horrible.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to do the CT.
No, let's not talk about the CT.
Right.
We don't want to take you back there. And we don't want to take you back there.
It was awful.
Yeah, let's not go back
It was
there.
awful.
Yeah.
So we're at the crossroads now where we have the appointment to go back in, and then with that appointment, they are going to decide which one of the surgeries are right to take.
So initially, with her first ordeal, you had a GoFundMe page. You say people may look at that now and think there's still money in there, but those funds have been depleted. You have bills that are still mounting from her care every day. I know you're facing this one. So tell me what you would like for us to do to try and help you with what you're about to do.
Oh, wow.
Ask and it shall be given, That's what the Bible says.
Well, we have we have everyday costs, because she has in-home physio. In-home, most of her care is in-home. Meaning physio come in to the home.
Does she have a nurse there as well?
Yes,
24/7?
Yeah, the nurse. She always has a nurse. She requires 24-hour nursing care. Very expensive. Physio is expensive. Overall care, supplies, everything, we have to get them still. Visits, everything, we have to get them still. And it does mount up. It all adds up. The machine that she's using is a rental. So we have to pay for that as well. So everything adds up. The surgery coming up, we know it's a must, because it is the way moving forward. The stenosis has to go in order for her to breathe. on her own for us to stop using machines
Machine.
and everything. So that's the way forward. How expensive that will be, it is yet to be determined at our next visit. So, but we know with surgeries, they're never cheap. And that is the sad case.
So you've opened another GoFundMe
Yes.
page.
Yes, we have a GoFundMe up now, hoping that we will raise as much as we can. That will take us as far as we need to go, because the journey is not, it's not over, and it's not
Easy.
It's not easy, and it won't be over anytime soon. By God's willing, He will give us the strength that we need to sustain us and to keep us going. And He will make provisions as He's always done, you know. I trust Him, and I continue to trust Him because it's the only thing that I know. Because when things were nothing, that's what I had to do. So I will remain on that rock that I stand, you know. Keep trusting Him.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. We're going to give you the information, the GoFundMe information in a bit, but we wanted you guys to look at this first. Run it, Madam Produce.
You know, when I just first saw this story, it hurt me to the core. You know, I have to say God is really good. To see a mother's strength to pray continuously night and day by her child's bed in the hospital, to come back to what she was, a young, vivacious, beautiful young lady. God, we forever give you thanks. Veneshia, all the best to you and your beautiful daughter, Kaylan. God is really good. Unbelievable. And to see that Kaylan will be on set on Sim Soul Session for all the prayers across the country. People have put in so much prayers and blessing and faith back into her life. You are truly blessed, my dear Veneshia. All the best to you and your lovely daughter, and may God continue to keep and bless you guys.
I remember when the first episode was done and Veneshia, you came on talking about the story and how it moved me. After that episode, I kept on reaching out to Simone just to find out how things were going and how Kaylan was improving. And then I started to go in search of everything about Kaylan, so I ended up finding the YouTube channel that you had. And over the period, I can see the transition, Veneshia. I can see how even your life have changed to being a mother with faith, right? The way you prayed, the way you trusted God and you never gave up. And I admire that so much of you, right? You never gave up on your daughter, and that is such a blessing. Kaylan has the best mother. And for Kaylan, I just want to say I'm so proud of you for not giving up on yourself, for not giving up on life. You're a fighter. And even in all of this, I'm sure you have taught many persons, or you have impacted many persons' lives in showing what it means to fight, how to be resilient, and how to never give up no matter what the circumstances are. We love you, we love both of you, and we're wishing you all the best. We want to see you improve, we want to see you get better. We're looking forward to seeing you walk again.
I checked my messages and got the message that, hallelujah, I feel like rejoicing and shouting and screaming that Kaylan, Almighty God, will make an appearance on Sim Soul Sessions. Veneshia, me know it's indescribable how you feel now, having gone through it all. How many times the doctor report that our heart stopped beating? How many times? And it starts again. Even I remember reading that her heart stopped beating for 20 minutes. But God. I remember when I was on Sim Soul Session myself, I said that she will come here. I wasn't speaking in my own strength. I was speaking through the power of the Spirit of God, that she will come here and she'll be here. I feel like rejoicing and screaming and shouting because I tell you, even as I shared on the devotion earlier, ride out your storm. That's what you did. You rode out your storm, Veneshia. I'm going to tell you, say, me personally, I'm encouraged to remain in faith and just trust God. You live a life of trust God. Miracles are still happening. People wonder about a miracle. This is a miracle still happening. So trust me. I'm excited to see what next God is going to do in the life of Kaylan. God is not true. He who would have begun a good work in her will see to it that it's completed. And you and your faith and your belief and your prayers, God answer them, Veneshia. God answer them. Trust me. I don't have to tell you to be encouraged, because I am the one who is being encouraged right now by what has happened and what is happening and what's about to happen. Bless you, man. Oh my God. Anytime when we can come go to some joke, bless up yourself. God is good all the time.
Love you, Ite. Thank you so much for that. You guys, there's so many people, Kaylan, who are rooting for you. So many people who are praying for you, who are rooting for you, who want you to be well. He did tell me that you were going to be on this set and you're sitting here today. Hey, how that feel, miss? Awesome. Mommy, how you feel? You have a army behind you.
Oh, yes.
A army of people
Yes,
behind
a lot of people praying.
Yeah.
Lots of well-wishers.
Yeah.
You know, it is what has kept me. Sometimes I am down. I'm not going to say that I don't sometimes feel frustrated or overwhelmed or flustered by everything that is going on. But when I open my DM, there's always somebody there. My WhatsApp messages, always somebody there. Sometimes people just call out of the blues, and trust me, it
People
is
who
what
don't know you send us
people don't.
messages to air on Good Vibes. Well, IT has called it. He says he's excited to see what is next. You are here for us to help you with what is next. Folks, we are putting up the GoFundMe information. If you feel it in your heart to help Ven and Kaylan face this next hurdle, here's the information as to how you can help. Let's all come together and see how we can help to keep changing Kaylan's life. Thank you, Ven. I look forward to the book because I know you're going to write it.
Yes.
Yes.
Already started.
I know. I look forward. Take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. So we've checked in with Ven and Kaylan. Now it's time to talk with a guest from our second season who stole everybody's heart and started a whole new army of love and support. Here is a look back at Chelan's visit to Simso Sessions.
I was literally on the couch talking on the phone, and you know, sometimes you're talking and you put the phone down on your chest. I placed the phone down right here and it didn't sync. And I was like, what's this? So I checked it and I was like, this doesn't feel so right. But there's no one way that it feels. So you can't feel it and say, oh, this is cancer, you know? When you find out you have to do chemo is when you find out that there was it was in the lymph nodes. So you take out the lump and then they test it to see if there's any there.
Lonnie's and doing a number.
That's Lonnie shaving it off for me. And so it's a lot because now it might be a little bit more
complicated.
Yeah, a little bit more complicated. And it would have been great if I just said, oh, I did this and then I don't have to do chemo. But when I have to do chemo, it becomes, it was real before, but it's just compounded, like it's way more real at that time. Just know that once you start to fight, you'll find that strength. We're women, we're born strong, right? So you don't have to worry if you'll be able to tackle it. But don't talk yourself out of it because you're going to regret it.
All right, so we're back from the feature and she's here in the flesh. Chelan Smith joins us, Mama Shell. Here, after 2 years of meeting and greeting, you are back and as beautiful as ever.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good.
You look good, girl. You have a lot to catch us up on, so let's jump right in.
Okay.
So when you last left us, which was 2 years ago, June of 2020, you were still going through treatment.
Yep.
Which you completed in 2021. Yes. You are 2 years cancer-free?
Yes.
Love that for you. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very good. I actually forgot. My doctor, I went to visit my oncologist, and she was just like, you know that this is 2 years. And I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah, that's
really
so
good.
great.
Yes.
I mean, you say the fight always continues,
Yeah.
but that's a great milestone to celebrate.
Definitely.
So you sit here glowingly beautiful and smiling, and I don't know. That's one thing, Chelan, that I will always be amazed about is your spirit. Even when you were here last time and you were going through what you're going through, your spirit never faded. And so last year you finished this treatment and you go and you get your genetic test. What's the actual name of the test?
It's a genetic mutation test. And my doctor, in all fairness, my doctor had mentioned it to me to say, do you want to do this test? It's a little pricey. It's about 500 or so US. So I was just like, at the time we were dealing with all these other medical expenses. I was like, well, we already know I had cancer, right? So we don't really need a genetic test right now. So we'll just put it to the side. Wrong move. So when I finally did it, what they were testing for is, I think it's a BRCA gene test. That's kind of like, you know, like Angelina Jolie tested for and found out that she was predisposed to breast cancer. So that's what I was looking for. They came, they called me, they said, hey, you don't have that genetic mutation. What you have is a, that's exactly, I was just like, what? They're like, what you have is a rare genetic mutation called Lee-Fromeny syndrome. So I said, I beg your pardon.
What's that?
Right. So basically, just you're predisposed to different forms of cancer. So not just breast, but breast cancer is definitely at the top of it. So you'll be like 80%.
So you're so regular folks would be at 12%.
Right, around that.
You are up to 80 with this predisposition.
Yeah, and like the older you get, the higher it goes up. So, you know, talking to them, because they call you, because it's a lab in the US, and they had a counselor call me. And they were like, well, really and truly, all we can do is increase the monitoring, or you can remove the breast. No, I know you know that's something that I was trying to avoid doing from jump, but I was just like, Chuck, let's go. Let's just do it.
Okay, so you're so you just finished treatment, and you're like, okay, I'm done with this for now.
Getting back on track.
You're getting back on track,
Yeah.
Chelan, and another diagnosis comes in, and you're like, you told me, you said, I'm tired.
Yeah, I was just like, I am really and truly over this. I was really and truly over it. So, but you have to dig deep, you know, like I had to dig really, really deep.
Warrior
and I was like,
again,
all right then.
Go back into warrior mode.
Yep, and just say, all right then, fine, let's do this. Spoke with my doctor, spoke with my family, and they were like, yeah, a double mastectomy is definitely what's suggested for this type of thing.
And there was no other option for you.
No treatment, there's no treatment.
You said you sat with your family and you said, look, I've been tough this whole time.
Yeah.
I've been fighting this whole time. This I am not prepared to do. I am not prepared to lose my breasts.
Well, yeah, when we were looking at the double mastectomy, you can just do a double mastectomy and no reconstruction. And I was just very honest that we're going to need a reconstruction.
Straight up.
Yeah, like I'm not prepared to do that. And they were like, fair enough, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Chelan, I'm a young hot girl. I can't, right. Yeah, you were not ready for that.
Depend that.
Yeah, not at all. So you had 2 surgeries this year.
Yes.
The first in February.
Right.
To remove them.
Right.
And then the second.
In like late July to reconstruct. So how it goes is that you do the double mastectomy with a staged reconstruction, meaning that they put in something called the expanders in your chest.
Right.
And so you come out and you can be extremely flat, or what my doctor did, he put some fluid in there so that I wasn't completely flat when I came out, which was good mentally.
Right, because it can be a huge shock.
A huge shock, right. And no matter how you feel like you've prepared, when I came out of surgery and I felt that little lump, I was like, okay, I felt a little calmer than as opposed to when I was expecting to feel it completely flat. And over the months, they watch how you heal. They watch how your skin heal, how, you know, that area of your body takes to the process. Because not everybody, some people's body rejects the process. And then they start filling the expanders and they fill it until it reaches the size that you want or that you're capable to carry. Because some people want, like, you know, big breasts, but their body never had big breasts before. And that leads to complications.
Right.
So they fill it and fill it. So that takes... My doctor is very diligent. He likes to make sure it's perfect. So it took months. And then around July, they're like, okay, we're ready to do the transfer for the implants. And so we did that.
A friend advised you to look at the tissue that had been removed.
Yes.
And you did.
And she looked at me and she said, when you go, ask them to take a picture of the breast tissue just so that you can see. Just visualize that they have taken that risk out now. You no longer have that risk. It's out of your body. And I did. I won't tell you what it looked like. What I did.
No, but tell me how you felt when you did look at it.
I was just like, okay, it didn't look as scary as I expected, you know?
But did you feel that relief that Tara told
It
you
wasn't,
about?
it wasn't more relief. It was more like, okay, it's not what your nightmares are made of. You know what I mean? It wasn't what I expected. It wasn't big and scary. So I guess in some ways I was relieved, yeah.
Okay. Wow. This girl is amazing. And here's the thing now. So Chelan is now, you're comfortable in your new body.
Getting there,
You're
yes.
getting there. You started working out again. And you say now that this is where like the real fight begins, because you kind of don't know what to do with yourself.
Right.
In this moment that you have no wars to fight. And that to me just blew my mind.
Yeah.
We're going to explore that more with Chelan when we come back. Catching you up with some of your faves. Chelan is still here with me. So, Chelan, you said something to me that gave me goosebumps. You said the hardest part of this fight so far has been the end.
Yes.
And I said to you, what does that mean?
Basically, I think I told you, I said, what does a warrior do when there are no wars to fight? So I have completed everything. Now I've done the surgeries, I've done the double mastectomy, radiation, chemotherapy. So now I sit down and it's very quiet. There's no end goal to focus on. So what do? I'm left to process what has happened to me over the last 2 years. And some days I'm just like, ugh. But I'm so glad because my friends, like when I said to them, sometimes I wonder if I imagine, she's like, me too, girl. Sometimes I'm like, did Chelan really have, is this real life? Did this really happen? And some days, some days are harder than others.
Yeah, you say you sat and cried for a week.
Yeah, like just off and on. I was just crying off and on for a week. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, why I'm this way. And my friends were like, Chelan, what you went through was extremely traumatic. Allow yourself to feel these emotions. And so,
You're processing, you're still
yeah,
processing. Did I just go through this? Did I just lose my breast?
Yes.
Is all this real?
Exactly.
But you were so busy going and fighting through it. And now that you've drawn breaks.
So even when I did the double mastectomy and I came home, one thing that was extremely important to me was that I stared on myself. So every time I was going to the shower, and I made sure that I looked and got used to how that looked. And no matter what I was feeling that day, once I'm heading past the mirror, I stand up and I look, just to force myself to come to realization that this is the new me.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about the new you. Let's talk about the new you. There are 3 things you said you absolutely needed me to remind you of, and I'm happy to do so.
Yes.
That you have concluded out of all of this, that you will never allow yourself to forget. You're very adamant now, you say, about keeping promises to yourself.
Yes.
And there are 3 we're going to talk through that if you make them, I'm going to make them to me as well because it's so inspiring. First one is, which you told us on the show, when you get better, you're going to what?
Travel.
You're going to travel.
Yes. So that is, I sat down while I was going through chemo, I remember, and I said it to my family and my friends. I said, I could have given up my 3 points and I haven't seen half of where I want to see. And I just could not think of the reasons I didn't fly. Like, always I never save enough, or I had this busy doing. So now I must travel at least once a year. Mm-hmm. That is the promise to myself. I have to get up and go. Yeah.
A lot of the things we worry about don't happen.
Yes. That's it. That's the second one. A lot of things that we fret about, that especially me, because, I can be very high-strung at times. But I would say about 90%, like we are capable of thinking the absolute worst case scenarios, and they don't happen. And I just keep reminding myself, like, this is not the worst day of my life. Like today, I've had worse than this and I've made it. So, I can just breathe and get through.
Push through.
Yeah.
Push through. And the last one is the clincher for me. You tell them, if you narrate it.
If it's not worth it. I apply that for everything, right? It has to be worth it. And that's food, So even if I sneak and I eat a dessert, it must be worth the sugar. You understand? It must be, if I eating something, must be worth for eating some pork. Must taste good. It must be worth it. If I am speaking to someone and they're cause it must be worth it. So anything I do, what is, you know, it's not that I'm trying to use people, but when I sit down and I think about the possible negative effects of interactions, food, is it worth it?
Because stressor is not good for you.
Right.
But
So
any stressors.
this potential stress, is it worth it to me? So
Yeah,
those are
so
the
she
two
don't
things.
have time for the crosses. Don't bring any crosses to Chelan.
Please don't.
She's not here for it.
Please don't.
Friend, family, potential, anybody. She's not here for it. She don't have the time, the patience.
I don't. Like my doctor literally said, please to avoid stress.
Yeah.
So I have a prescription, no stress.
No stress.
Yes.
We're going to write a prescription for you right now for some good vibes.
Yes.
Lori!
Can you believe, Shell, it's been 2 whole years since we started this journey together. Look, we're back in office and you're my calendar girl this month. Chelan, we are so, so proud of you. Chelan, keep fighting, keep inspiring others. Do not stop. I know there are days when it gets hard and it gets tough, but you always will have us. We are always your support and we will love you forever.
Aw, Chelan, I can't believe it's been 2 years already. Girl, you did so good. That may be an understatement of the year, but you did so good. Your journey has been an inspiration to me and everybody that you have met. There are people that will still call me and say, San, how is Chelan? And they haven't even met you. You are a true inspiration. You are our champion. You are our warrior. Thank you. Thank you for pulling through. There's no other way. I remember the day when you told me about this and there was just nothing else other than we need to get this done. And you did it, girl. Thank you, and we love you, and we will always support you. We love you, Shell. Mwah.
I am so happy it's done. Congrats. 2 years and we're still going, Mama. Thank you so much for sharing with us, for sharing yourself. Thank you for laughing with us and just bringing joy to us even though you were going through a very rough situation. Chelan, what is this life that you've been blessed with? You have been more to us than words can say, and I want to thank you openly for that. I want to also give you my love, and I have some more green shakes for you. I have some more juices for you. Girl, here's to many, many, many more years in our friendship.
Hey sis, you did it. And every day you wake up and continue to fight to be the best version of you. I'm so proud of you and I love you so much. But I'm not surprised because anybody who knows you know that you're a warrior. Keep it up. Mwah.
My darling sister Chelan, what more can I say other than you are a strong, beautiful Black woman. You've taught me so much. You continue to smile when the world beats you down. I admire you, love, and respect you. You're a true warrior. I love you, sis.
Surprise! We just wanted to let you know, in case you didn't know already, how much of an inspiration you are to us every day. We love you and we're so amazed by you and the things that you have done and that you continue to do. And we just wanted to say to all the people who showed Chelan so much love and support during her fights.
Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate all your support.
All your support. It really warmed our hearts and it warms her heart too. All the support that you gave her and that you continue to give her. And Chelan, we just wanted to say, you did it!
You did it, girl.
We're so proud of you. Love you.
Nicey.
Yes.
So when you hear these things now, when you were here last, and I said to you, you're so strong, you said, I don't feel, all these descriptors that people give me, I don't feel like it. But when you hear people say, no, you're strong and you're a champion and you're a warrior and do you feel like you can now rest comfortably in those labels, Chelan?
Yes, I can.
You own them?
Yeah, I own them now. I accept it. Definitely.
Excellent. That's progress. What would you like to say to some of the folks or to all the folks who your sisters just mentioned, who you do not know, you've never met,
Listen,
but they are your extended family?
Listen, I can't even explain the outpouring of love that I got. up to yesterday, I went to a hair store and the cashier said, your face looks so familiar. Are you Chelan? So I said, yes. And she goes, keep doing your thing, girl. You're glowing. I love it. You push through. I like how. And I was just like, wow, thank you so. I get a little awkward sometimes, but I was just like, thank you so much. And I thought about it while I was driving out, and I was like, wow, that's crazy, But I had strangers leaving. I told you, leaving fruits, leaving stuff, just anything to make me feel better. They would just drop it off at my family's store, and I will never forget. To them, I have to say gratitude is a must because you kind of know the vibes you put out when by what you're getting. And I was very happy to experience that kind of love from people who I haven't even met.
And they are right. You are glowing. You are glowing. Girl, thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Catching us up. We will continue to monitor what's going on with you, but we are so grateful to God that you are on a healed and healing path.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ma'am Michelle.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Sim Soul Sessions affirmation when we come back. All right, we're back, everybody. Final segment, time for affirmation. I feel so good today. I say it all the time. Doing the show is one of the greatest joys of my life. And I also tell folks that I traffic in hope. That's what I sell. Scarce, but it's priceless. And if I can help inspire it in even one person as they navigate a challenging situation on a down day or a difficult day, I'm happy to do it. One way we do that is through our affirmations. So here we are. Let's go. Time. It passes. Time teaches, time heals, time changes things and people. It pushes us past our past. It facilitates growth and transformation. Time, the one thing we all have in common, the space in which our experiences happen. What those experiences need in order to play out. The thing we need to fix our situations, to find ourselves, to rebuild our lives, or to take the reins. It's time. The one thing we all have in common, the one thing we often waste doing things that don't matter on people who are not worth it. Time. What are you doing with yours? Are you making strides? Are you making memories, magical moments? Are you making the best use of your time? Because time is the one thing we do not get back. And whether we like it or not, we don't have a whole lot of it. So are you, like time sometimes feels, standing still, allowing time to pass you by, allowing life to happen to you, being a spectator in the game of your own life? Well, I'm here to tell you it's time to be decisive. Take your time to take the steps needed to take action, to create meaningful change, which in due time will change and shape your life, giving your time living a fulfilled one with the ones you love. Trust the timing. The time is now. Tonight we affirm, time is the greatest currency, and I will spend it wisely. That is our soul food and our show for this evening. Thank you for watching. We're here next week with another story of the power of the human spirit. Until then, every blessing, and please remember to count your blessings. Bye, everybody.